Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Do me a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. The weekend successor bombshell, a closed door meeting, a former works commissioner, and the endorsement that just set Rivers on fire. The battle for the brick house in Port Harcourt has taken a definitive turn today, following a closed-door meeting in Port Harcourt with key stakeholders, including former militant leaders Asari, Dokubo, and Ateke Tom. FCT Minister Nyesom Wike has officially endorsed Alabo Dakorinama George Kelly as his preferred candidate for the 2027 Rivers Governorship. Governor Kelly George Kelly, I'm predicting, George Kelly, a seasoned loyalist and former works commissioner, is expected to fly the APC flag, marking Wike's total commitment to unseating Governor Fubara. The Godfather has finally picked his sword for the next duel. With the militants and the political machinery now behind George Kelly, has Wike just written the final chapter for Fubara's administration, or is the governor preparing a rainbow counter-attack? We're going to get into this sharp edge analysis right now. Do me a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live, and we'll be right back. Chief, welcome back, sir. How are you, sir?
Always a pleasure to be back with you. I'm fine. I hope you are too.
Yes, I'm doing well. So my question for you is very, very simple. Okay, so again, the Godfather has finally picked his sword for the next duel with the militants and the political machinery now behind George Kelly. Has Wike just written the final chapter for Fubara's administration, or is the governor preparing a rainbow counter-attack? Let's have the sharp edge analysis, sir.
Thank you very much. To put it succinctly, what I would do if I were Governor similar Fubara now, I would make a clean break with APC, number one. If I were him, I will make a clean break with President Ahmed Bola Tinubu, and then let it be a battle royale, a royal rumble between the people of Rivers State versus Nyesom Wike, the Minister of FCT, and the Nigerian presidency. And an opportunity abounds for him to prove his method as a seasoned politician. He's been underrated all the while, but there is an opportunity for him now to step out, throw his heart in the ring, and accept the challenge, and for once nail the political coffin of somebody that is uncontrollable. We don't even know if President Bola Ahmed Tinubu remains the falconer for this falcon that will listen to nobody else since falling apart in River State. So it's an aggravated situation of rivers of trouble. And picking Alabo George Kelly, or George Kelly, I think Kelly, George Kelly in this circumstance is to say that he ultimately has a way of making an inroad into the Calabaris, the Jaws, and the Ogonis, and pitching them against each other. I think this is one rare opportunity to really let Nyesom Wike know how much he weighs on the political balance and what have you. The opportunity that abounds there can also be linked to the 48 hours decision taken by both one-time presidential hopeful or two-time presidential hopeful Peter Obi and Dr. Obi-Kwankwaso, former governor of Kano State, coming together, seizing on the opportunity offered by the Nigerian Democratic Congress, NDC, which could trace its roots to the consciousness and sagacity of riverine people right from the First Republic till date. So this offers an opportunity for everybody to galvanize support for similar Fubara, unless he has thrown in the towel, because you never can know what deals these politicians are always making between themselves while not in the open glare of the generality of the Nigerian electorate. So if there is nothing, or if he is not acquiescing to what insult Nyesom Wike is trying to push, not just in a spiteful way against sitting governor Simla Fubara, also against the majority of electorates or sizable number of electorates, as the case may be, in Rivers State. And then to also finally put this man who has proven to be a kind of Goliath in Nigerian politics or political landscape, to really confine him to where he properly belongs, while the people can run away the trophy on who actually owns democracy in Nigeria. That is my first cursory observation about what is playing out in record time in Rivers State. Now, similarly, Fubara, if he is going to cut or sever every tie with the past that has offered him nothing other than anguish and complete betrayal, would also have to begin to stand. To be a governor in any state in Nigeria is no mean feat. And that in itself could signal the fact that he no longer needs a godfather. He can step out and make a declaration upon this gory situation, upon this disturbing development in which somebody has taken on the Nigerian political landscape, threatening, intimidating, and really causing trouble for everybody in the last few years. This is the time to really say that, well, there is a man in the land. There is a little David, 5 robust pieces of stone, and they will be able to target the forehead of this man who continues to bully and take undue advantage and plant the worst form of corruption and political fraud in Nigeria, and let him know where he actually belongs. And the people of Rivers State should position themselves to understand that this second time, are they going to be given another roller coaster in which the resources and the will and development of their state is held to the whims and caprices of Nyesom Wike? This is the time for them to say, oh, this is what we have to offer. It's been, Nyesom Wike has dug in for a long time. He's been in the trenches challenging whoever in Rivers State to dare him. This is the time to really draw the line in the sand and let him know that there are real people living in Rivers State, Nigeria. That is my initial observation about all this. And I think that if Simlaye Fubara could grow a spine, could grow some spine, political spine for once, he would be able to have a strong pushback against Nyesom Wike.
To me, sir, to me, to be honest with you, it sounds like asking somebody's wife, because they had an argument yesterday, and you're asking them to just leave. And the wife is now saying, leave us out. Do you want to marry me? Do you have a place for me to go? Right? To me, it doesn't look like he has a home. That's what it looks like to me, you know?
Who doesn't have a home?
Fubara.
If you say he has no home, are you saying that at the moment he is like an orphan, no protection?
Political orphan, yes. Political orphan.
Well, the solution
because clearly, right, it looks like what's his name? Nyesom Wike has the support of Tinubu. That's what it's looking like.
And that is why I said Simlaye Fubara, as the sitting governor of Rivers State, should sever all ties to Tinubu himself and should not even look upon that hill, thinking that any salvation can come from Nyesom Wike towards him. This is where he can become the man that he ought to be. This and the solution, the way to go, is in the history of Nigeria. But you know, we cannot cross the line. We can only analyze, because if I'm going to point that out, it will sound so inciting. But when somebody says there is no way, you chase this goat, is eating the brick wall. What do you think the goat will do? Yes, goats are not supposed to bite, but they can come back and give a serious bite if you make life too difficult for them. And that is what I expect Simlaye Fubara to do now. I mean, they will be monitoring, they would want to use all kinds of state resources to want to derail him, to want to destroy him, to want to make sure that it doesn't go nowhere. And they will be threatening him with all kinds of anti-graft agencies and what have you. He should look, I mean, he should stand his ground and give them a fight and a good run for their money. I know what would happen in a place like Ondo State, where you and I grew up. In a place like Ondo State, they would make Tinubu, the federal government of Nigeria, and Nyesom Wike to go bankrupt, because it's almost like Nyesom Wike cooking for the people of Rivers State. They can take the meal down in one gulp. But when the entire people of Rivers State gather and make that, whether sumptuous or impalatable, they cook a meal for Nyesom Wike, he won't be able to finish it. That is one option that Simlaye Fubara could check out, and we won't go beyond being an analyst, and we just let them figure themselves out. But I would borrow the proverb of the late Dr. Umaru Diko, one-time transport minister and political fixer for the establishment in Nigeria. And he was talking of somebody expecting to have a ride on the back of the tiger could as well end up being a good dinner in the belly of that tiger. So all these things that Nyesom Wike has perpetuated, all the things that is done for months now on end, and it's gotten away with just because it's got the backing of federal might. So sad. So uh,
I mean, there was a lady
absurd.
earlier. There was a lady earlier on today who was. There's a video that went viral. Some Abuja pastor, Omaku. I mean, in one breath, she was begging
Yes,
Wike over a
Sarah Martin
lakeland. Yes, and in the
of
other,
Family Worship Center.
yes, and in the same breath, she was commending his road project. So it seems like Wike is not all that bad after all. How sweet would
Well,
it be? Just last
well, good
week,
for well,
sorry,
Ola.
sir. So just
Yes.
last week, right? Sanwo-Olu was introducing Amzat to the world, right? And
Hmm.
there's a picture of Amzat, Sanwo-Olu, and Tinubu floating around. I mean, that's sweet, right? I'm sure Fubara will be wishing that was his story at this point, don't you think?
Well, yes, he could wish, but like we pointed out last week, if he was able to look in the books, I mean, of a contemporary Nigerian political evolution, whatever happened to Ambode, I mean, I told you then, if they could treat Ambode the way they treated him, so why was similar Fubra so hopeful that these people would give him any hope or any salvation? I mean, it couldn't have been any closer between Tinubu and Ambode as the sitting governor of Lagos State. And from what we even learned, that man was begged to run as governor of Lagos State. Only one time, one time, they turned the table against him. They turned the table against him. So it would have been some funny wish on the part of Simlaye Fubara if he thinks, oh, he can have the same opportunity like Dr. Amzat, the deputy governor of Lagos State that has now been endorsed by way of so-called consensus, because already some of the aspirants in Lagos State are kicking. They are saying that no, there is no such thing as consensus in this matter. And if they are going to go by the constitution, not ramming things down the throat of their citizens or party members, once there is just a dissent, just somebody disagreeing with the so-called consensus arrangement, is enough reason to go for direct primary, in which the whole thing will be thrown open. Members of the party in all the wards of wherever has been delineated has been affected by the election, maybe state, local government, or federal, would have to participate in picking the choice. So, in this case, it is a woman that has sneezed. Why must everybody in the Rivers State begin to catch cold? Just because Nyesom Wike, whom I've always believed to be suffering from a kind of megalomania, illusion of grandeur, seeing himself as bigger than his real life image, his real person, as endorsed, he thinks that is the way Rivers State people should go. Those states, a shocker will be waiting for him. I always allude to the situation of Ondo State. Come to Ondo State people and say, Baba Sokwe, Ondo State people are going to give you a bloody nose. They will let you know that ultimately,
I mean,
power will belong to the people. And that is what we expect in a place like Rivers State.
We will pick it up on the special. I have like a pushback on that with the Ondo State part, but let's bring it to the special time. Ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button, share, subscribe, follow, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. Right now, we're going to talk about Trump, okay? And we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. The blown off the Earth ultimatum, missiles in the Hormuz, ships at the bottom of the sea, and a president who says Iran is about to be erased. The Middle East is on the verge of a total meltdown after Iranian forces allegedly targeted a U.S. warship in the Strait of Hormuz. President Trump took to Truth Social with his most terrifying warning yet, stating that if another U.S. ship is touched, Iran will be blown off the face of the earth. This comes as the U.S. Navy confirms it has already sunk 6 small Iranian boats and shot down multiple drones. Despite the White House telling Congress that hostilities had terminated last Friday to avoid the War Powers Act, the blockade continues and the missiles are flying. Chief, Trump is effectively guiding commercial ships through a war zone while threatening to end a whole civilization. Is this the peace through strength
It
that
could
we
be
were
peaceful.
promised, or is it the world watching the start of the World War III?
Whichever way it swings at this point in time, you would understand that, yes, Donald Trump did not go there with the approval of the Congress, which is the War Power Act that you're talking about. I mean, after a given number of days, constitutionally, he should come back to the Congress, or I mean, he should provide justifications for the continuation of hostility, and in this case, an outright declaration of war, which was something that the timeline kicked in last weekend. Now, you asking if this is a peace guaranteed by way of strength. Whichever way this has been guaranteed would be justifiable in view of the fact that you see the way things are cascading everywhere. I mean, a major discount airline went down this weekend after being in operation for 30 years. And what are they talking about? They are blaming this bankruptcy on one thing, the scarcity of aviation fuel. And whether you're talking of the United States of America, Europe, or indeed in Africa, our primary constituency, particularly Nigeria.
Sorry to inject this. Even Davido was in the news for having to reschedule a bunch of shows and moves around the world because he was grounded because there was scarcity of oil.
Scarcity of aviation fuel. Yeah. So, I mean, same point, obviously. So, yeah, that's a major iconic African entertainer. I mean, now, things are unraveling so fast all over the world. So, in order to put this back on track, it's an unavoidable crisis in the first place. But I would also throw this back at you, Ola. Looking at the way Iran has played its card, the runaway egregious conduct, I mean, through which it almost succeeded at knocking heads against each other, not just in Western Asia, the Gulf area in the Middle East, but also across the globe. But for people trying to make sure that the things are really tempered with caution, don't you think Iran would have succeeded at triggering, a major global conflict? It is a major global conflict as it is now. The geopolitics of it indicates all that. But the question I'm asking, or which I want you to also view with me, don't you think Iran seemed to have this ace up his sleeve all the while to cause World War III? Don't you think so?
I mean, this is major. You know, I don't know how we want to shape it. No matter what shape we bring it, or we try to assess this. This is dangerous. This is major. You know,
Okay.
and it's affecting everything, honestly.
If we agree it is major, if we agree it is dangerous, honestly, you can blame Donald Trump. You know, I'm not his fan in any way. I have zero sympathy for him
I couldn't tell,
because,
sir. I couldn't tell, sir.
yeah, but yes, but I'm telling you, I'm not one of his fans. I'm not. I don't really get it when it comes to his agenda for where our nation is headed. I think he's undone so many things concerning the progress we have made as United States of America over the years, right from the reforms against Jim Crow, right from the time of integration in this country, civil rights reforms and electoral reforms and all that. I see him reworking the hand of the clock concerning all these impressive progress that the United States made. Taking that or separating that from the cultural wars of the war of sexes and what have you. I mean, as a man of tradition, there is, my own core belief about all that because I'm a person of nature. So, if we must consider everything about the way he has carried on, the war should have been unnecessary in the first place because the lessons of what he himself used to criticize about the phony intelligence on weapons of mass destruction that led to the invasion of Iraq and the ultimate execution of Saddam Hussein as a sitting head of state in that country would make sure, would have pointed out one thing to him that this is not a road to travel. And so when we are given all kinds of conflicting reasons for being led into action against Iran, especially the ones provided by somebody that has been found guilty of war crimes like Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli Prime Minister, and all that. I would say yes, it is difficult, but Iran did something, almost showing the world that it has always prepared to be a bad boy of the Middle East. And all of us that used to look at, Islamic countries as one fold, one consciousness, we now know in record time that no, it is this Persian state of Iran against the other Arabic Union. And from the way Iran has conducted itself, it will look to me like Donald Trump, yes, resorting to desperate measures, seem to be getting some sympathy as to whatever action he would need to take to make sure that we all are back on track. Even if the Strait of Hormuz is savage at the moment, the oil, the prices on oil products, on oil byproducts will not immediately reset. Things will not be fast tamed. They will not be, put back on track so easily. So this runaway inflation that is really unleashed upon every part of the world would still have to be addressed by the same person who triggered it all, Donald J. Trump. So if he is using power to say one must strike against an American warship, because I really do not know, Nigerians will ask, in short winch, what is the thing that is making Iran to really want to embark on some suicide mission confronting the United States of America this way? Because ultimately, when shop comes to push, the person who is projecting power, who is able to put power on display, not in the sense of Nyesom Wike in Rivers State, Nigeria, but the geopolitics of it will point to the fact that everybody, including all the analysts that would love to really play up the luck of the underdog, that is Iran, everybody at the end of the day will be giving will be giving the flowers, the trophy to the United States of America, because whether we like it or not, something has been. I mean, look at the pile and pile and pile of missiles, all kinds of projectiles that Iran has been dishing out in all directions of this war. So, what are they doing with such a huge arsenal of deadly weapons? That is food for thought for all of us, and it would not be justified that Donald J. Trump did what he did. Again, would there be any reason for all of us to look back and say, oh, all this while that the world powers were monitoring developments about nuclear arsenal and what have you in Iran? Maybe they were right. And Iran can do much in helping itself, not to be given the harsh conclusions of history, because ultimately those who craft these things, those who shape the history of the world, they know how to apportion blames, and it would have been okay to go for moral armament or rearmament and let the world just know that somebody was wrong upon this occasion, and concerning that verdict of history, we leave it open for everybody to contribute.
Well, yeah, you're right. You're right. We just have to keep watching, because right now, I just came back from the store. It's not looking too pretty. It's affecting everything. The uncertainty is loud.
Even my purse.
Yeah.
And I see the way Nigerians are really groaning. But you see the classical script being written in Nigeria, while people are crying, while businesses are failing, especially the small and medium scale businesses in Nigeria. The government continues to spin all kinds of stories about, oh, the economy is doing well. Nobody has been able to be the father of the nation before the sitting president and what have you. And yeah, even as we are doing this, Nigerian president is on the way to some three-nation visit. I think he will be visiting maybe France, Kenya, and probably Rwanda. And they're talking of France as a colonial, as a past colonial power in Africa, sitting down to do some roundtable and negotiations with some African leaders. And the president of Kenya will be co-chairmaning that forum with the president of France. Ultimately, you know what they do there. Just sign some papers, make it look good, take raw resources away from Africa, ship those, the products, the byproducts of such raw materials taken from Africa and resell to the people of Africa at killing prices. It's a cycle. It's a cycle. And so the political powers of the world, they would trigger crisis. The worst hit are always the people of Africa. Would there be a voice for Africa? Or the conduct would be to continue to pretend to be for the people while they're selling out? We'll continue to watch.
All right. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, join the conversation in the chat. Hit the like button, share, subscribe. Turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. We have some other trendy stories around the world. Let's talk about Peter, Obi, and Kwankwaso. We'll be right back. Welcome back. The Obi-Kwankwaso NDC mega move. The ADC is out. The NDC is in. Peter Obi and Rabiu Kwankwaso have officially joined forces to create the last resistance. The third force has finally mutated into its final form. Reports confirmed today that Peter Obi and Rabiu Kwankwaso have officially moved into the National Democratic Coalition, NDC, leaving the ADC behind. Analysts are calling the NDC Nigeria's last resistance, a mega party designed to consolidate the northern and southern opposition into a single 2027 ticket, while the APC is busy with its consensus housekeeping. This Obi-Kwankwaso alliance has already triggered a massive legal battle at INEC over the party's registration. The opposition is finally forming a united front that looks like the 2013 APC. Is the NDC the engine that will stop the Tinubu re-election machine, or is this just another alliance of convenience that will crumble before the first ballot? The sharp edge is yours, sir.
An alliance of convenience. I'm looking at it as an alliance of necessity. If we study the dynamics of Nigerian political or Nigerian politics in the last 2 weeks, you will understand that it will be inevitable to look for some political haven where the government at the center in Nigeria, that is led by Bola Ahmed Tinubu, will not be able to continue to stoke the possibilities of or the possibility of collapsing the country to a one-party system. And it's a phenomenon that Nigerians have always viewed from some remarkable distance. Oh, it's happening in Zimbabwe, it's happening in so and so country, wouldn't ever come to Nigeria. And interestingly, the smooth operators that call themselves the politicians at the center of the gravity in Nigeria, they are so smooth about it that it's so difficult to see to see their hand in the way those opposition parties are being tossed up and down, the way they stoke all willing Judas Iscariot within their within each opposition party's fold to make sure that they rock the boat against who really mean serious business about wrestling power from the sitting president. So that is why I said it has become, it became completely inevitable. It became completely unavoidable. That's why I said it became a matter of necessity. And for humanity, for human beings, necessity would always lead to some novel steps, that is, inventions that would really be outstanding. And as it is today, when people are saying ADC is out and it's a Nigerian Democratic Congress, I do not know if ADC is completely out. But even at the time, the People's Redemption Party, that is probably the oldest political movement, or the oldest political movement in Nigeria, right from First Republic to date, the Aminu Kano consciousness, which started during the Northern Elements Progressive Union. Everybody thought it would be available as a special purpose vehicle to be used by the Nigerian opposition. But no sooner that the indication was given, because you remember Dati, the running mate to Peter Obi during the last presidential race on the platform of the Labour Party, decamped to PRP last week. And then from nowhere, this Petrel of a Nigerian political family read their ugly head within PRP and they started their battle royale. Don't forget that these same elements that went into hibernation, they were there against Mr. Kola Abiola, son of uh, Nigeria's elected but denied presidential hopeful, 1993 GCFR. Chief Moshood Kashima Wolawale Abiola, MK Abiola. His son was the presidential candidate of the PRP in 2023. All these elements, they came after him. After the whole thing, everything died down. But as soon as Dati went into PRP last week and they thought, oh, Obi and Atiku and all of them may abandon ADC and probably migrate into PRP. Boom, those people came up. But in NDC, it's almost like there is a perfect peace there. Is it going to be stormy at some future date? You never can tell. Because from all indications, the Nigerian presidency cannot extricate, cannot completely absorb itself of complicity or involvement in whatever is disturbing the soul of opposition movement in Nigeria. But as it is today, it is not just the trouble that dug the opposition movement that actually led, because Obi gave a lengthy explanation of why he had to move to NDC, I think on Saturday. Nobody is completely convinced that those were the reasons. And people are beginning to characterize and mischaracterize him as, I think it's Moka, the spokesperson of the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, that called him a political rolling stone that gathers no moss. Well, at any given time, many of them, including Bola Ahmed Tinubu, have played the card of being rolling stones too. So nobody can be really described as being completely different from the other. But the situation here is that expediency, and lessons learned over the last few months may be the guiding light for both Mr. Peter Obi and Dr. Obi-Kwankwaso. What I'm really worried about is, would this alliance between them, would it really work? And then what is the prospect? Because the fear of a complete takeover of the structure of ADC was what probably informed from what observers have noted, what they have concluded. The beginning of wisdom for Peter Obi and Obi-Kwankwaso was the manner and fashion in which former Vice President Atiku Abubakar completely overwhelmed and took over the structure of African Democratic Congress beyond all the court encumbrances placed on their way. And lessons learned from all this is that whether you are Alexander the Great conqueror in history, you are Julius Caesar, or you are Mobutu Sese Seko, you are Kwame Nkrumah, or Gentuso Tafawa Balewa, who himself had his own consuming ambition with Ahmadu Bello in taking over completely and enveloping the Nigerian landscape with their own impressions. Nobody lives in power forever. Nobody lives in power forever. The only eternal king that's been so pronounced, whether in the spiritual or in the physical, has been Jesus Christ. And he's been here once, he's died for humanity once, he's said to have been caught up in the heavens, said to be coming back again. If Tinubu thinks he's going to be the new Jesus Christ or Prophet Muhammad. No, that is the thought that must be perished. So if somebody was campaigning and said, if I'm not able to give you power in my first time, you don't have to re-elect me, and you've not been able to do those things as a matter of honor, because according to Lord Jeffrey Archer, the British lawmaker and well-known storyteller, novelist, even among thieves, there is honor. But politicians, if we must consider them without them really considering, if they don't like to be seen as thieves, shouldn't there be some measure of honor amongst them? The least that Tinubu could have done, in view of the hardships all over Nigeria, economic and otherwise, socio-economic hardships all over the place, would be to want to say, oh, I throw in the towel, this is too much for me. But then, as a matter of honor, if he doesn't think that he should throw in the towel, then he should make the whole place, the field, a level one for everybody. Let everybody come in. You don't need to take over the reins or the structure of the opposition political parties. Let everybody thrive. I think when that happens, people like Peter Obi, Obi-Kwankwaso, Atiku Abubakar, Rotimi, Amechi, and all of them would have their peace. That's my take.
All right, that's fair. I'm looking at a post on a blog. Peter Obi's former running mate, Dati.
Yes.
Former vice president candidate Dati Baba Ahmed has expressed doubts over the chances of Peter Obi securing northern support ahead of the 2027 elections. And I quote, "I, as much as possible, try to avoid names at this stage or the politics of everyone, but it is very unlikely that the North will rally around, okay?" Dati said firmly. Speaking in a recent interview, Dati said his position remains a personal opinion, noting that he still maintains, and I quote, "an excellent relationship and much respect for key political figures involved." He revealed that as far back as January 31st, 2024, he had advised Obi to begin strategic political alignment. According to him, "I told him, and I quote, Your Excellency, from this point, there is Obi-Kwankwaso, there is Nasser El-Rufai. I would like to suggest that you approach them." Dati added that his advice was rooted in long-term political planning, stressing, and I quote, "If in 2024 you cannot plan 2027, I'm sorry, I can't continue to be with you." He noted that Obi is now moving politically alongside Kwankwaso, but questioned the viability of the alliance. Will it work? It's a big question. We'll wait and see, he said.
Yeah, I watched, I listened to that interview that he granted Shewan Kimbaloye of Channels TV on Politics Today. And from what he said, let us do some analysis of the content analysis. He said he told him to move towards Obi-Kwankwaso and to approach them. Rufai now is with Obi-Kwankwaso. Nasir Rufai is in custody, being held for certain allegations, including the one of listening in on the or tapping the conversation of the National Security Advisor. Fine. So you will ask, if you want him to be with two people, and he's around one now, the other one that is, out of action is somewhere. So what is the heck? And he has even said it himself that it's a personal view. The days ahead would tell. Let us see the way things play out. Let us see the way things pan out. The way it is, nobody can say precisely that. Because people say 24 hours. It's like eternity in politics. Anything can change. Look at the way things are taking a flip in the last 74 hours. So the days ahead will tell if Peter Obi would be able to nail it concerning relationships between him and Rotimi Amechi and former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, Obi-Kwankwaso, and others. But understand that part of what the now they are talking of OK movement, that is Obi-Kwankwaso movement, not Obi-Dati anymore. But the obedience movement, what they have been accused of, and which they probably are guilty of, is that they insult virtually everybody, and that they picked on Rotimi Amechi, and that part of the reasons why Peter Obi moved out of ADC was because of the way he's been treated so far and all that. Well, we would see.
Well, I'm tempted. I'm tempted to say the same thing, but it's just the nature of the internet. I'm tempted to say the obedience are just like the rattles, the VDM rattles, who have some favorite. They have some favorite choices of words for us, by the way, in our comments because of the segment that wasn't a real segment from last week. But it's just
what's that choice of word for us? Let me know.
I'll tell you in the special. But but that's the nature of the internet. It's a lot of weirdos on the internet. There's no.
And unless you can afford yourself some self-deprecation, develop very strong sense of humor in response to whatever they say.
Exactly.
You may just find out that you yourself, that energy is sucking you in.
Precisely. And, it's never that deep. Absolutely not. God forbid.
Yeah, you deserve better than that. And you know us here. We just look at it, we bump it off. Yep. And we are focused decidedly on shaping opinion and making sure that things improve for the better, whether in the United States or in Nigeria and the world at large.
Yeah. And if you can't listen for at least 3 minutes straight, it's not that's not our problem. To get context of what is being said, that's your personal problem.
To put context to the content.
I can't help you with that. Yeah. All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Join the conversation. Feel free to join the conversation. We will laugh with you. It's not a big deal. But if you want to join the conversation, and we'd like to hear from you. But take some time to listen to at least 3 minutes before you formulate an opinion. It will help you. We are okay regardless. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We have the weekly special coming right up, and we'll be right back. And now we move into the weekly special, the Sharp Edge News TV. We've had the news. Now let's get a sharper edge on the conversation. Joining us on our dialogue is the man himself, our publisher, editor-in-chief, and High Chief Oladimeji Abitogun. Good to see you again, sir.
Thank you, Ola. Always a pleasure to be back. And we have a special report before anything. Number one is the disturbing development concerning federal colleges of agriculture all over Nigeria. If whoever is, this is a special report from us. Whoever picked the copies of certain Nigerian dailies in recent past, you would have come across. You probably, or such an individual would have come across advertisements coming from a certain agency of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture in Nigeria, because federal colleges of agriculture all over Nigeria are supposed to be parastatals of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture. And the idea behind all of them is to recognize the pivotal place of Nigeria as an largely agrarian nation. And these colleges of agriculture were first conceived of way back during the colonial period, and then they were passed on to different successive Nigerian indigenous administrations over the years. And I remember that the Federal College of Agriculture in Akure, FECA, used to be known as School of Agriculture in Akure, and the impact of that school around Ondo State, particularly of Baile Akure axis. So, I mean, the influence was quite enormous and quite remarkable. Several products of that school, I mean, came back there. They were given plots of land that they could cultivate as a personal garden, or so to say, parcel of land for food production and what you would call simple crops like tomatoes, yam, cassava, etc. So a recent advert in Nigeria listed the openings for the headship of several colleges of agriculture, including some in Ibadan, some up north, and even the one in Akure. And the heads, at a point in time, they used to be addressed as principals. At some point, they were rectors. Now they are known as provosts. And the rule says that whoever would be eligible to become a provost of any college of agriculture in Nigeria should be principal officer, could be senior lecturer, could be somebody within the system, 3 categories. But the age limit was also set. Somebody that is not more than 60 years of age. What do you find at the moment? There is a certain Professor Agu. I mean, people who are supposed to be shortlisted, who are supposed to run for these offices, or this office of provost to any of the colleges of agriculture in Nigeria, are supposed to be within the College of Agriculture system, because lecturers or tutors or instructors from colleges of agriculture or their principal officers, administrative officers, are not expected to take off from the agricultural system, the colleges there, and then start nursing the ambition of becoming vice chancellors to any university or rectors to polytechnics all over Nigeria. So you will ask, why? I mean, how has the elephant molded its head that the gorillas own too should be questioned? So if these people are not supposed to aspire to hijack offices at the level of universities all over Nigeria, why should university professors and what have you come to hijack the place that is meant for career advancement for people within the colleges of agriculture system? There is a Professor Agu, who is said to be related to the Minister of Works, Federal Minister of Works, Mr. David Umai, from a university. After the worst form of corruption, I mean, which is that of nepotism that is all over Nigeria, that is so rotten, the man now has been shortlisted to lead a major college of agriculture up north. And all the prospective candidates were invited to Abuja to write examination, just because the system is being tinkered with. The result of that examination should have been out within hours after the prospective candidates sat. Because I'm talking to you because they are still perfecting the rigging system. The culture of impunity that the sitting government, the sitting political party in Nigeria said they were there to correct, is playing out in real time. And what is worse, people that are more than 60 years of age, they are there bribing their way through. So when is Nigeria going to overcome this endemic problem of fraud and corruption? So if you are not able to turn it in the headship of the academic, what's it called, of the different citadels of learning, whether universities, polytechnic, colleges of agriculture, or what have you, what do you think would be, would be the end product? You show me the fruit coming from a tree, I will show you the nature of that tree. Years back, when people like Oprah Winfrey and everybody got so mute, and they concluded within the American public space and said that, oh, Nigerians are being taught fraud right from school. Some of us got angry. We tackled the allegation, but when we play back with opportunity of retrospection and introspection, would you say people like Oprah Winfrey were wrong? They were not. So we need to begin to look in all this. And people offering bribe, selling positions and what have you. Is it not enough that the way we conduct ourselves without righteousness, without truth, without standards, without values anymore in Nigeria, is it not enough that it has become a source of reproach to Nigeria everywhere? And we are not willing to stop. I think the moral of bringing you this report is that the level playing field must be guaranteed. Corrupting the processes of getting people into offices everywhere in Nigeria has come to a head, and enough is enough. Our first report right there. The second one, in real time in Ibadan, one of the well-known faces of broadcasting in Nigeria, especially Southwest Nigeria, Mr. Alabo Dakorinama came out last week to make certain disclosures on a program anchored by Mr. Dele Adeyanju, known as Agbaletu. And in that edition, in that edition of the program, he made certain disclosures about the conduct of Mr. Hamzat Oriyomi, the well-known broadcaster and social crusader that's known for championing the cause of subaltern and less privileged people. But from that disclosure that he was one of the people who mentored Hamzat Oriyomi, that is, Hamzat Oriyomi was a mentee of Mr. Lanre Shitu, or no, not Lanre Shitu, Lere Shitu. Sorry, some mix up there. Mr. Lere Shitu. And that after Hamzat Oriyomi has been established firmly as a radio station owner, that is the owner of Agidigbo FM in Ibadan, he invited Mr. Lere Shitu, who used to be his mentor, to come over to work with him at Agidigbo FM. And for a year and 4 months, the man was not remunerated, not even an acknowledgement, not even a stop by to say, hello, are you there? I'm working in the same radio station for somebody who was his boss elsewhere. He was a mentee to this man. And for some of us who were excited about Oriyomi coming to the gubernatorial race in Oyo State, that disclosure that his former boss in retirement was hired, and for a man that had really impacted so many lives to have been treated with questionable indignation. I mean, the dignity of his human person became something that was rubbished, allegedly, by Mr. Oriyomi. That, I mean, has been disturbing. For example, for me, last week I was posting the outings of Hamzat Oriyomi on my private tweet, on my private WhatsApp handle. And people thought I was endorsing him. I don't endorse any political player. What I was doing was to let people look at the fashion, the atmospherics of his campaigns. I mean, the carnival-like outings and his speeches. I was trying to let people know that, oh, This is almost in the classical fashion of the way the Akintola Awolowo was used to campaign. And there is something always captivating for me about the nuances of people from Oyo State, particularly Ibadan people, whether in prem or in the way they give speeches. That was enthralling to me. Now, even, if I was going to draw attention to the Oriyomi movement, I want us to always have an all-round view of somebody's character and personality. For me, I was really impressed the way Oriyomi stood up and demanded justice for Timothy Adegoke in the manner and fashion in which Rahim Adedonyi and co. The Hilton Hotel scandal in Ilefe, where that university graduate student was assassinated. It was so impressive that Oriyomi could stand for such an hapless soul, such a dear soul that was killed. But we cannot be part of the problem that we are trying to solve, or we cannot replicate a problem that we were trying to take out in the first place. Otherwise, we will be falling to the archetype of Orwellian Animal Farm. Problems all over the place about the conduct of the original oppressor. And then, is there something that recommends itself for us to copy in the oppressor? Something that comes your way, be nice to people. That is the essence of what I'm saying. And it can, your endorsement or your acceptance of a political gladiator cannot just be on the surface of it, just like that. And then we move from the issue of Hamzat Oriyomi to the man that that has been reported to have been taken off the street without legitimate arrest warrant by the Nigerian military for daring to expose the alleged bad treatment being meted out to men and women in uniform combating terrorism, kidnapping, and banditry. For daring to go out and outing the military for paying poor ration daily allowance to soldiers who are in the theater. This is one form of citizen engagement. If a citizen through social media is exposing some of these things, I think what anybody should have done is to encourage citizens to come out. Because
sorry, sir, are we talking about the blogger?
Yes, the blogger.
The blogger Chidiebere Justice Mark.
Thank you very much. Yes, Chidiebere Justice Mark. Now, just because this citizen has said, citizen engagement, and I said, treat soldiers in uniform better. He is speaking, he is amplifying the voice of the underdog here, and then is arrested, tortured, and they wanted to dump his battered beam on the DSS. And I'm happy Tosin Ajayi, the DSS director and officers, have said no. Let the military take care of this problem. The same conduct, whether on the part of the police, uniform personnel in Nigeria, and the military. This is why it's so difficult to enlist the support of citizens in fighting crimes and insurgency in the country. You don't make citizens who should be your source of actionable intelligence. You don't make them look like they are your enemies. The military has done what is wrong in this situation, and Olayo and I will not be able to relate with the conduct of the military in this situation, because as citizens of America, our military do not turn against us. You saw what happened here when immigration people, and backed by National Guard and some grades of military, were going to start enforcing immigration rules. The whole thing has been altered here because you cannot turn the gun paid for by citizens against your citizens. Payers fund all these things, and then instead of you to defend them, to feed the soldiers well, to make sure that they are robust and they are good to go. They are fit. If the military is doing everything possible to deny all these things, those of us who have been active journalists and reporters in Nigeria, we know the way they go. So to come around to begin to spin all kinds of narratives around it as if it does not happen, it is happening. You must take care of men and women in uniform. Otherwise, you'll be getting the kind of nation you desire. And finally, the same attitude played out when a young man was unalive in the glare of everybody at a motor park in Eforum. And I'm happy a decision has been handed down by the Nigerian police on that. That ASP who did this open and brazen murderous act has been relieved of his position in the Nigerian police force alongside 4 others who were accessories before and after the fact of that murder. It shows that something is working about Nigeria. But would we be satisfied with just something working about? We want everything to work well for Nigeria. And that is why we are happy on all this. This is our special this week. Ola, any other one that you think we should talk about?
We're way over time by 11 minutes, but it's okay.
Oh,
Yeah, I just wanted to read the comments to you, and then we'll call it a day. So on somebody said we the Rivers. This is from last week. This is from last week's show. So funny enough, we had a good week as well. We had let me just tell you, we had about because I wanna tell everybody to please subscribe. We had about 2,600 people stop by last week.
quite impressive.
Yeah, so if you can please go ahead and subscribe when you're watching those videos, so you can
And
keep
share.
notifications and share. Yes.
And in your community, engage. We preach, we believe in what we preach. You are not going to be crucified or vilified for dropping your comment.
Speaking of engaging, sir, since we run out of time, speaking of engaging, somebody said, I see the reason you don't have any comment. And then the person went on and doubled down on their comment. They are giving us comment. They said that we don't have comment, but they're giving us comment. I see the reason you don't have comment. But you just sit with Mike and talk just to create content, because I see that you all never follow the whole story. But how can you, even as someone who don't know what is happening, to analyze an issue? So this was part of the trendy stuff that we picked up during the special. It wasn't part of our stories. This was the Showore versus Very Dark Man from last week. But if that person had watched at least 30 seconds.
Yes, and the good thing about that was that what I didn't understand about it, I asked for your perspective, and then I was educated. That is better than coming to sound like all-knowing while you know nothing.
Well,
you must progress from.
I don't want you to comment on about it. This is what they said about that.
But please, let us make it a teachable moment. The greatest philosopher that has ever come on the face of the earth, Socrates, he really improved our mind was for us to move from the unknown to the known, and don't ever come to anywhere and behave as if you are all knowing or that you know. And the good, there is that
you do know that there's not enough explanation for these people, right? You do understand.
Thank you. And in journalism, you don't come as if you are all knowing. So thank you very much.
All right. There would never be, not to cut you off, Chief, right? But there would never be enough explanation for internet weirdos. And I'm not calling our commenter a weirdo. I'm just saying, in general, internet is a very weird place where our job was done, and it was done. And whatever they want to do with it, they want to do. We want to encourage them, however, to continue to engage. But we also want to encourage them, especially if you're a Nigerian, to, number one, read a full caption. Okay, this is for me personally right now. Read a full caption, watch a full segment before you have an opinion. I just think there's too many people on the internet. They read a headline and they have an opinion literally within 15 seconds.
And you don't judge a book by the cover.
Yeah, yes. So
You need to get in there.
so I'm not shutting you down, sir. I just want to read the comment to you. You see, take it with a pinch of salt, acknowledge them. Somebody said, okay, now with regards to what you just said, right? That you asked me, and then I wasn't educated on the story too much too. You know, I just know what I've seen. It was just a quick banter before we left the show. The person's talking to me now, right? He said, "You are such a liar. B. Lord was not arrested. He was detained by the court because he displayed bail risk by ignoring invitations. The judge ordered that he remain in custody. You're a liar." I want to say shout out to that person.
Remaining in custody and being ordered by the judge to remain in custody. I'll be arrested.
Problems.
What's the difference?
The internet. The internet.
Thank you for being part of what we do anyway.
Exactly.
It's your community. It's our community. Let us all be part of what we do. Thank you.
So the person that said we didn't have comments is leaving us a third comment. Shout out to this person. The person really was doing us a favor, right? The person said you declare Showore the winner. Is Showore is not envy of VDM? Is he supposed to enter the case the way he did? If he's matured enough, because VDM always called him Uncle Showore. If Showore is not trying to discredit VDM and are failed, it's not supposed to. Okay, so this person, I don't know what they're typing. In all the interviews that Showore did, you hear him state exactly what the charges are. He keeps saying it was about Rattel, animal, someone who claimed to know. Okay, all right. Thank you for the comment. Anyway,
thank you so much.
One more, sir, and then you can now comment on the whole thing. If you are so brave and so upright with this, your Showore, I dare you to make the video of the scene Showore claimed to be shot by police as your next video. I dare you. Play it in slow motion for Nigerians to see. The videos are on YouTube. Have you ever wondered why Showore stuck with SUG president as if NAS president did not exist, but left the being shot out of his brag? I'm sure Showore himself would not want the video out and viral today, but it's all over YouTube. Okay, you can have your comments.
Well, those inquiries, those daring questions should be thrown at Showore himself.
Exactly.
Here, we have for everybody. The only point that was made then was that you don't know if Showore pays $16,000 for his child to attend and leave the children out of it, because the children, I mean, this is what we crave for concerning Nigeria. It's not just about working out student loans and putting them in a debt burden for years, I mean, that are not even certain in the future. All we are saying is that there are options, could be scholarship, grants, student loan, and so on and so forth. But the student loan component is even the least attractive. And we must crave a better society. That's why we said Showore won in the encounter, because I didn't get the gist of anybody dragging his family into his personal crucible.
That's where they got that from, and we're still right.
Yes. So,
and the commenter is still right too.
yes. So this is it. Let's continue to engage, and there is no word to say other than we appreciate you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications so you're notified when we go live. This has been another fantastic one in the box. Hopefully you've been enlightened, educated. We'll see you on the next one. Take care. God bless.